Do I think she made some mistakes along the way? I do. She made quite a few mistakes along the way.
It makes me super emotional, so I apologize. It's so important for people like us to see people like us on screen.
And weird things pop out of their heads.
There's no line, there's no filter, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's so important for that next generation to see someone that looks like them, to see someone that may not understand where they fit in this world yet because of their cultural identity, their ethnic background.
She was supposed to be West End royalty, but now she's threatening to bring the house down, according to multiple insiders close to the production. Rachel Zegler is preparing to take legal action against the team behind the London revival of Evita. Not for breach of contract, not for being fired, but for something far more personal, what her team is calling a toxic and hostile work environment.
While everyone was enjoying the film, the actors were being paid residuals. Like, they were literally being paid barely anything for their work, and we wonder why Rachel Zegler is speaking out against this. Like, I don't know, maybe it makes perfect sense because that was her first experience with the film industry, and like, yeah, she was kind of screwed. Like, yeah. And listen, she turned out fine. Like, she's making a lot more money than I am, but, you know, I would be pissed too. I would be. So anyway, I think everyone needs to pipe the fuck down and wake the fuck up and realize who the real enemy is. Oh my god, that was so Hunger Games of me, but it's true.
Behind the velvet curtain, things have gotten ugly. Sources say Rachel feels she's been undermined, isolated, and deliberately pushed to the edge by the very people who hired her to lead the show. What started as small creative disagreements have allegedly snowballed into full-blown confrontations, and now her legal team is involved.
That Rachel Zegler is the unluckiest lucky person that has ever existed. Like, we just need to take a look through of her entire career, and like, you'll understand once you see. Okay, so first, imagine you have the voice of an angel. Like, she has one of the best singing voices that I've ever heard. At 16, she starts auditioning for the part of Maria in West Side Story. But mind you, this isn't any West Side Story remake. This is a Spielberg West Side Story remake. And at 17, you get the part, right? Your first ever acting job is playing the lead in a Spielberg movie. Insane. But then your co-star has all of these allegations come out, so they ramp down all of the PR for this movie. Then your co-star for one of your next movies is also a terrible person. Okay, maybe third time's the charm. You get cast to play the Snow White. But never mind, your co-star is a Zionist. Literally pray for her.
One insider claims that Rachel's lawyer sent a formal letter to the Evita producers late last week, demanding a renegotiation of her contract and compensation for what they described as emotional distress and reputational sabotage. Another leak suggests her team has compiled a list of alleged incidents from ignored safety complaints to last-minute scene changes designed to, quote, make her look unstable in front of the cast. But here's where it gets even more intense.
Yeah, and she's the same lovely soul who just put out a message wishing Trump supporters that they never know peace. So we have an epidemic on our hands of out-of-touch actresses and celebrities. I mean, why accept a role if you clearly despise it of a beloved classic? Like, maybe don't take that role then.
Multiple sources
say the core of Rachel's case centers around a claim that she's being targeted because she's a woman who speaks her mind. Her representatives are reportedly calling it a case of deep-seated gender bias within one of theater's most respected institutions, and if these allegations sound explosive, just wait, because one of the producers has allegedly been caught telling a colleague that hiring Rachel was a risk. We probably shouldn't have taken that comment. Now circulating among cast and crew is being treated by Rachel's team as evidence of a pre-existing bias, a setup, a trap. Now the legal clock is ticking. And while Rachel hasn't officially pulled out of Evita, yet the damage may already be done.
Yeah, this girl doesn't really help the movie. The more she speaks, the less people want to watch it. And users in the comment didn't hold back. She's paid for a movie nobody asked for and still nobody wants. Yep, and another one, bro, she just blew up. Can she chill? She's been in like 3 movies. Exactly,
But
This is just the beginning, because the moment her lawyers got involved, the entire West End started paying attention. And what happens next could change everything anyways.
I've been getting a lot of hate comments lately, which is really hilarious, but they're all from the same girl, and it's actually hilarious. Like, her comments tell me that I'm not fit to play princesses. Then why have I played 2? I have another callback for the West Side movie in early June. I'll let you guys know how that goes, and otherwise I'm just balling. I'm just living my best life.
It wasn't just one argument. It was a slow build one that finally snapped in front of nearly a dozen cast and crew members. According to backstage sources, the breaking point came during a full cast staging rehearsal earlier this month. Rachel, who had reportedly been frustrated with repeated changes to her blocking, and choreography confronted the assistant director in front of the ensemble. Witnesses say her voice was calm at first, but quickly escalated into what one crew member called a full-on showdown.
It's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior. And if it was just one comment, it probably would have been forgotten by now. But it was comment after comment, and it was pissing off everybody, pissing off all of America. And it became such a disaster that they had to shut her up, which was the smartest move they made. But the onus is all on her.
Sure, it feels like every aspect of this just seems to breed controversy, and yet that's just another aspect of it. By all accounts, they do not get on particularly well.
She allegedly accused the team of deliberately setting her up to fail, claiming key directions were withheld until the last minute. At one point, she reportedly said, "You keep moving the goalposts, and I'm done pretending this is normal." But the real shock came minutes later, midway through the scene. After another abrupt change to her staging was announced, Rachel stopped singing, midline turned to the production team, and walked off stage, leaving the cast in stunned silence, according to a member of the crew. She didn't come back for the rest of the day.
I've been getting a lot of hate comments lately, which is really hilarious, but they're all from the same girl, and it's actually hilarious. Like, her comments tell me that I'm not fit to play princesses, then why have I played two? I have another callback for the West Side movie in early June. I'll let you guys know how that goes, and otherwise I'm just balling. I'm just living my best life.
Already flying word spread that Rachel had called an emergency meeting with her team. Less than 48 hours later, legal representation was reportedly brought in. The producers, caught completely off guard, were said to be furious and blindsided. One internal email leaked anonymously allegedly described Rachel's actions as irresponsible and disruptive, while another warned that her behavior was becoming unmanageable. But Rachel's camp tells a different story.
What you see with Zegler is really just a pretty common Gen Z mentality and approach to work. She believes that she should be able to express herself and speak her truth or whatever nonsense, regardless of the consequences to everybody else. In reality, you have a job. You're getting paid to do this job. You signed on the dotted line. You took on the role. And that job comes with certain basic responsibilities. And one of the most basic is the responsibility to control yourself and comport yourself a certain way publicly so that you don't harm the project, thereby harm all the hundreds of other people who are working on it.
They claim she's been raising concerns for weeks, including overwork, lack of support, and being unfairly singled out whenever scenes didn't go smoothly. Her team reportedly documented dozens of interactions. They felt cross the line and say, they've been preparing for this moment long before the walkout ever happened. And just when the dust started to settle, Rachel stopped answering calls from production for 3 straight days. No one knew if she was coming back, but they were about to find out that she wasn't just taking a break, she was preparing.
Was a crime of woke, feminist, commie lunacy. So that leaves us with she, her, hers. Rachel Zegler. Zegler? I'm not sure. The partner in crime and one of the most entitled, toxic...
I'm a narcissist.
man-hating, nasty bitch. The last part, her words. Who single-handedly actually annoyed everyone so bad they escaped this mess. Well played.
Rachel's glare isn't just upset. She's alleging something much bigger, a pattern of behavior that she believes proves she was never truly welcome in this production. According to leaked excerpts from her legal team's preliminary statement, Rachel is accusing the Evita producers of fostering what she calls an emotionally manipulative and hostile work environment. The document reportedly outlines multiple incidents that her team claims were intended to isolate and psychologically destabilize her during rehearsals. One of the main allegations that Rachel was consistently excluded from Heil production meetings about key creative decisions meetings her male co-stars were allegedly invited to. According to her team, these exclusions left her unprepared for major changes to scenes blocking and even vocal arrangements, which were then used against her when she underperformed. And that's not all. Another claim focuses on her solo number, a pivotal moment in the show that Rachel had reportedly rehearsed for weeks out of nowhere. Producers allegedly cut the number without informing her directly. She found out through a printed call sheet that listed the scene as scrapped due to time constraints. Her team now says the cut was retaliatory, a punishment for speaking up too often. But perhaps the most damning part of the complaint is a list of psychological triggers Rachel's lawyers claim were used to provoke her during key rehearsals. Things like moving her blocking marks, just before a run-through having the conductor change tempo midang or adjusting lighting in a way that threw off her visual cues to anyone else, they might seem like normal production hiccups. But to Rachel's team, they were part of a pattern. Subtle campaign to paint her as erratic, unprofessional, and difficult to work with. They even go so far as to say the producers were building a paper trail setting Rachel up to look like the problem in case things exploded, and now she's calling them out. According to one insider, Rachel's team is demanding a full review of how she's been treated, along with a compensation package for what they describe as ongoing emotional harm, reputational damage, and contract manipulation. But the producers aren't backing down quietly, because while Rachel's team is preparing for war, the rest of the cast is starting to speak out, and not everyone's on her side. As Rachel's legal team ramps up the pressure behind the scenes, the people working right beside her are starting to break their silence. And what they're saying might complicate her case privately. Several cast members have expressed frustration, not necessarily with the producers, but with Rachel herself. One ensemble member reportedly described the atmosphere as tense from day one. Another called Rachel's presence commanding, but not in a good way. Leak group chats from crew members show jokes about needing a second HR department just for Rachel, and one message allegedly sent by a stagehand reads, "Every time she walks in, it's like the energy shifts. You never know if it's going to be a meltdown or a monologue." But it's not all one-sided. At least 2 castmates are said to be quietly supporting her, telling others that she was being excluded and that they witnessed clear favoritism toward male leads. One performer even claimed that Rachel's concerns were laughed off in a meeting, and that when she raised her voice, people acted like she'd committed a crime still. The overall tone behind the curtain is divided and growing more polarized by the day, even among those who sympathize with Rachel. There's frustration with how things have unfolded. It's not that she's wrong. One source said it's how she's going. About it, there's a difference between standing up for yourself and burning the whole production down. That sentiment seems to be growing stronger. As word of her legal threat spreads, one crew member who has worked multiple West End shows put it bluntly, "You don't bring in lawyers mid-rehearsal unless you're ready to walk. And when you do that, you turn everyone around you into collateral damage." Social media hasn't helped either. A few cryptic posts from anonymous burner accounts claiming to be part of the Evita team have surfaced on X, including one that simply said she's not the victim she thinks she is. But the most chilling post, a blurry photo of Rachel rehearsing alone, captioned, "Funny how empty the room gets when she walks in." If Rachel was hoping to rally the cast to her side, it might already be too late. And the next part of her battle, it's about to get even more personal, because her team is now turning this into a much bigger fight, one about gender power and how women are treated in the West End. Rachel Zegler's legal team isn't just accusing the producers of mistreatment. They're making it a matter of principle, according to a draft statement reportedly prepared for the press. Rachel's reps claim her experience on the Evita revival is a textbook example of how outspoken women are punished in elite creative spaces. The document alleges that Rachel was singled out, undermined, and ultimately gaslit into believing she was the problem, all because she voiced concerns and didn't conform to expectations. And this time, they're not tiptoeing around it. Her lawyer statement refers directly to what they call a long-standing pattern of gendered retaliation in West End productions, where male leads are treated as visionaries and female leads are labeled difficult the moment they challenge authority. It's a powerful claim, one that instantly raises the stakes. They even cite past examples of women in lead roles, both in Evita and other West End shows, who allegedly faced similar treatment but were pressured to stay quiet for the sake of their careers. Whether those examples are real, exaggerated, or entirely symbolic remains unclear, but the public is listening. And then came the email leak. A document circulated among the cast shows a line from one of the producers during early casting discussions. "She's going to bring headlines, but is she worth the drama?" That single sentence is now being used by Rachel's team as evidence that the production knew what they were walking into and were already bracing for a narrative of conflict. Her lawyers are reportedly calling it prejudice in writing. The producers, for their part, deny all of it in a brief, carefully worded statement. A representative for the production said, "We have the utmost respect for all members of our cast and are committed to maintaining a safe and professional work environment. Any claims to the contrary will be addressed through the appropriate legal channels." But privately, one insider claimed that producers are furious that the issue has gone public and that the gender discrimination angle crossed a line. Still, Rachel's team isn't backing down. In fact, they're leaning into it, because to them, this is no longer just about block scenes or backstage friction. It's about making a statement and turning a West End rehearsal room into the front lines of something much bigger. But while Rachel's camp prepares to fight the fallout, is already spreading far beyond the theater, the moment the legal threats hit the industry radar. The ripple effect was immediate. Within 24 hours. Agents, casting directors, and theater insiders across London were already whispering, was Rachel Zegler being brave or burning her last bridge? The debate didn't stay behind closed doors for long. Social media lit up, articles started popping up with headlines like Zegler drama returns, West End edition, and is Rachel Zegler too hot to handle? And with every hour, the story got messier. An unnamed source at a rival theater company reportedly told a tabloid, "It's not even about whether she's right anymore. It's about whether any company wants to deal with this level of volatility." Even worse, Disney executives are allegedly monitoring the situation closely, according to a leaked email thread, which, to be clear, remains unverified. The company is concerned about Rachel's current media exposure and how it may affect long-term branding opportunities. Given the rocky public rollout of Snow White, many believe Disney was already walking on eggshells. Now those eggshells are cracking. One insider said bluntly, "She's a ticking time bomb and everyone's trying to guess when it'll go off." Meanwhile, the Evita production itself is reportedly in panic mode. Ticket pre-sales, which had been strong following Rachel's casting announcement, have started to dip. Anonymous sources claim multiple investors are uneasy, and internal conversations have begun about how much longer they can justify keeping her in the lead role. But even more shocking, rumors are swirling that the production team has already started quietly auditioning other actresses, not for a public replacement, but as a contingency plan in case Rachel walks or things implode before opening night. The cast knows it, the crew knows it, and according to one cast member. So does Rachel. She's smart, she sees the chessboard, and if she feels like she's being iced out, she'll flip the entire table. Before they get the chance, the legal threat may have been the first move, but the consequences are now spiraling out of control. And just when the dust seemed to settle, Rachel made her next move, one that caught everyone by surprise. Because if they weren't going to let her speak inside the rehearsal room, she was going to speak directly to the world. Rachel Zegler had been silent for days. No statements, no public appearances, no interviews, just whispers, legal murmurs, and mounting speculation. But then she spoke with one Instagram story. Rachel broke the internet and shattered any illusion that this drama was staying behind the curtain. The post was simple. A black screen, white text. Just 8 words. "They want me quiet. I won't." Within minutes, screenshots spread like wildfire, Twitter timelines filled with "I stand with Rachel" hashtags, while others fired back with accusations of attention-seeking and manipulation, but she wasn't done. An hour later, she went L.